Hello, and welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I'm Abby, and with me today is my beautiful co-host, Ashley. And this season, we are diving into the Unfinished Tales, which is a collection of stories and fragments and background details that expand on the events and the characters and all that just crazy lore from the Silmarillion, The Hobbit, and The Lord of the Rings.
These are the threads that Tolkien never fully wove into his larger works. Sometimes we call them the deleted scenes, but they do give us a deeper understanding of a lot of the characters and moments in Middle-earth's history and lore.
So if you've been listening for a while, thank you for hanging out with us and sticking with it. And if you are new, hello, welcome. But we do suggest starting from the beginning of the season, just so you're not super confused, to help you just get the full picture.
Yeah. So whether you're familiar with these stories or just discovering them for the first time, we are going to help you break them down, keep things easy, keep things interesting, and make sure that you're not too confused and having some fun along the way. That's our goal in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go.
Let's go. Oh, how have you been?
I've been pretty good. Just trying to get back to life after vacation, just like, oh yeah, laundry exists. Oh yeah, like groceries is a thing.
I have to make food now. Ugh.
I can't just like walk over to a pretzel cart and get something Mickey shaped. I don't know what. I don't like this world.
I know. Why isn't this Mickey shaped? They're against the wall. They're playing against the wall.
If I had a personal chef, everything would be Mickey shaped.
I know. It'd be so fun.
How are you?
I'm good. So I was telling Ashley, so when we sign into this app that we use, this website that we use to record, it makes us choose like a screen name for ourselves, and you can choose a different one every time. You can type in something new. And so today, what's mine today, Ashley?
I'm Batman.
Yes, mine is I'm Batman. And it's for two things. The first thing is, I don't know what the heck happened, but it's because I'm over the lovely age of 30 that I did something while I was sleeping, and now I can't turn my neck. And so I have to turn my whole my shoulders while I want to turn my head to look at something. So I feel like Batman when he can't turn his neck in the movies and he has to like turn his whole body. That's what I'm dealing with today. But the second reason is I have a good story for you. I'm sure you'll appreciate this.
I love a good story.
So, my husband and I've mentioned before, like with the story, the ants eating ants story, that
Right.
my husband and I, like after we put the kids to bed, we usually watch a show or watch a movie or something together, downstairs. And, it's dark, it's late. And so for some reason, we're like, oh man, you know what movie we haven't seen in a while? We haven't seen The Batman, the Robert Pattinson one. That's like emo Batman,
I've actually never seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Gotta say, I don't mind looking at him in this movie.
You are Team Edward?
It's emo Edward. It's what he should have been.
When is he not emo Edward?
Oh, he has like black eyeliner and black eyeshadow. It's emo Edward. Anyway. So, since you've never seen it, I will tell you this, and everyone else who has seen it will probably agree. It's very dark in the sense of like it's very true to the comics in that it's physically dark. Like most of the movie is set at night. It's like rainy, it's gritty. It's like this dark movie. And they have the bad guy in it is very creepy. It's a very creepy thing, right? It's not scary. It's just creepy. And like spoopy a little bit.
Not spoopy.
So, and so, like I said, it's not scary. It's not a scary movie. It's just kind of like too realistic in the sense of like, ooh, that could be a real thing that's happening in the world, and I don't like that kind of situation, right? And it's very dark. There's a lot of like real footage where it looks like, someone's really recording with like their phone or something. It's very like realistic looking, okay? Not super Hollywood. And so the movie ended, and it doesn't end on like a super happy note. There's like a creepy part at the end where I'm like, ooh. But because it's setting it up for another movie. But so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. And so all the lights are off in the house, and I have my phone as a flashlight. And I'm walking up the stairs. And so it's like just a point of light, like it's not the whole room is illuminated. So I'm walking up the stairs. And I'm already creeped out because this movie's a little creepy. And I like walk upstairs, and in a dark corner is my toddler standing completely still, just like facing the corner. And I'm like, and I like almost, if I didn't love him, I would have thrown my phone at him.
Demon child.
Oh yeah.
It's a gremlin.
And I was seriously like, I almost puked my heart out of my body. And I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, are you okay? Oh, what's wrong? Like, I had to put on my loving mom voice so quickly.
What was he doing?
I think he was sleepwalking, which makes it even creepier. But he was like, seriously, just in like a dark corner, like, and to put my flashlight up on him like a scary movie was like, no. And
scary movies always have to have a creepy little kid.
I know. And so I like put him back in bed and comfort him because he was kind of like, what's going on? Where am I? Like something. I'm like, okay, let's go back to bed. And I'm like, you demon. I was like, why? Why
You
did
sprinkle
you
some holy water on him.
Yeah.
Got some sage. I'm just gonna turn this candle on.
Yeah. So other than being tired today because couldn't sleep very well after that one, had to bring my heart rate down a little bit. And my neck is great, but yeah. So I thought you would enjoy this.
I did.
Enjoy the story of how I almost yeeted my 3-year-old down the hall.
Is the sleepwalking thing new? I didn't know he sleepwalked.
I don't think he sleepwalk. I've never seen it. I think he does sometimes, but by the time he gets to me, I think he's like, what just happened? I'm awake. So I don't see him sleepwalking. But like, it freaks me out because his bedroom is like on the landing of like stairs. So if he like walked a little too far, and he would just like walk down the stairs.
It's a freaking long staircase. I love your house. I love you, but I hate those stairs so much.
It's very much like the I don't know if you're a Family Guy person, but there's like a bit where like he falls down the stairs, but it lasts like way longer than it should. Like it's just like falling.
That is 100% your stairs. Yes.
Yep, that's exactly it.
100%.
Anyway, so I've got Batman on the brain.
So a funny thing, I didn't know that Buzz Lightyear couldn't sign autographs when we went to Disneyland, and I like to hear the cast members like explanations for things because they can't say just like he can't see out of his helmet or like they can't say that
bro can't see
yeah, but it's because he only signs official space documents, of course. I like that one. But I'm literally watching him and I'm like, yeah, this guy, it's the same thing as Batman, just like very much like could only move. I can't, like most characters like are like holding things up to their little eyeball, area. I don't even think he could do that. Like, I wonder if I wonder, yeah, a lot about the characters inside those suits. A lot. Like a little too much. I have so many questions.
I
If you
know.
work at Disneyland and you were a character, I please message me. I have so many questions.
Yeah. Hey, my friend was Jessie. Maybe I can ask her.
Yes. We actually met
So,
her too. Yeah, because why can some sign and some can't? I don't get it. Other than trying to,
other than the like neck brace situation that they're trying to do here,
yeah,
it's like it's like they have a neck brace and those like poor like
traction
scoliosis
things.
braces.
Yes,
Like the kids had to
the
wear.
halo, and with the
Yeah,
halo like in Mean Girls.
like in Mean
Yeah,
Girls. Yeah,
yep. That's
exactly.
awesome.
That's what I feel like I
And
have on today. By the way.
a meme that I think about every time I wake up in the morning and I feel like crap, and I'm like, it says like, "Oh, you got a good night's sleep for once? Haha, you did it wrong. Now you're in pain." You know, like
That's me. That's me.
happens every freaking time. Ugh.
I'm just gonna say I'm Batman and I'm gonna solve crime today.
I like
So
it. Just be
I'm gonna
careful driving because that's when the times that I feel it the most. I'm like, oh, blind spots. Hold on.
hold on. Yeah. That's why he drives so recklessly. He can't see.
Yes.
He's just
Have
crashing into everything.
that makes so much more sense now. We solved
Well,
the mystery.
anyway, let's
Well,
talk
anyway.
about Tolkien.
Let's talk about some fun stuff. So last episode was a bit of a last episode we did a Rings of Power recap, but before that, we went on a few different paths, and I apologize again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If not, please don't tell me.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. But we got to learn a bit more about Meme, and I told you all about the complaint of Meme the Dwarf, that poem that was randomly hidden away for years in a German academic poem book thing that they recently reintroduced in 2024 in like a big, massive collection of poems from J.R.R. Tolkien. So that was kind of cool. And basically, the poem was about Meme's tragic backstory. You know, basically a skilled craftsman whose home and life's work were stolen from him, leaving him bitter, broken, and forever sharpening a poison-bladed knife in his resentment.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a little, emo.
It's a little emo. Speaking of emo, oh my gosh, Meme needs eyeliner. Anyways, then we also got to hear a bit about Hurin and his outlaws settling into Meme's cave, just kind of making their little home life there. A little awkward because, you know, they did just kill Meme's son. So there's that kind of awkward aura here. And also freaking the one guy that doesn't really get a name, but he just has these random comments every once in a while. He had to like question the earthbreds of Memes, and he's like, and now you get served never of my earthbred, sir. So there's just a little bit of tension.
It's very much the Willy Wonka, like, you lose. Good day, sir.
Yeah. Hurin is not quite, he's not picking out his own room and organizing his cupboards. He's more, spending time outside, away from the awkwardness, staring into the distant sunset, also giving us a lay of the land, kind of letting us know it's nearby. And then Tolkien basically makes sure to tell everyone, oh, by the way, this part's really awkward. I'm just going to either refer you to the Silmarillion or refer you to this appendix, which is basically like a pre-write draft brainstorm bubble list of random ideas. Like, I imagine like if Tolkien had like random ideas at like a tea shop or a coffee shop or something. It'd be tea, right? Because he's English. Like, and just like wrote it on like a napkin or something like that. That's kind of what I feel like this appendix is. It's just like a pile of napkin notes and thoughts he had.
Yeah.
that
Poor
just like
Christopher.
accumulated. Yeah, poor Christopher. So yeah, this part was a little tricky. I was showing Abby that I had both my Silmarillion and my Unfinished Tales book out, and I'm like, my brain's a little tired at the moment. So hopefully this all makes
She's
sense.
got that bulletin board out that has all the red yarn and the pictures of
Yeah.
everyone, and like trying to put the clues together. Where does the trail lead?
Yes. So, but one of our goals of this podcast is to make things more easily understandable and fun. So, that's our goal. That's what we're going to strive to do. We'll see if we can do it.
Let's do it.
If we don't, please don't tell me again. So, we last left Hurin and company with an uneasy but tolerable roommate situation with me. They're not like besties having sleepovers every night, but it's amicable. And we did find out some more details about the cave, how big it actually was after starting to like look around and stuff, how it probably could have housed about 100 dwarfs at one point in time. Where are they now?
Sad.
Sad to think about. Yeah. We also learned about Meme's special secret craft room that we now know he would try. That's where he would try and gain back his skills after he lost his skills and his bitterness and all that.
Oh my gosh. So
Hold
on. He said we were talking about last time, like what his like Hobby Lobby signs would be if he had
yes,
like craft room.
Did you figure it out?
I saw somebody on I think it was like Instagram or TikTok or something. They made mugs, and they made live, laugh, love mugs, but there was dwarf runes on it. Like it's in Tolkien dwarf runes. It says live, laugh, love on like a mug. So that's what reminded me of that he would totally have that in his little craft room.
I love that so much. I also randomly, sorry, I'm in a Disney mood, conceal, don't feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stylings of Meme's craft room will occupy my brain for a while. But anyways, from this point on, though, the outlaws don't really need to go out. They're, usually they're pretty mobile. They're having to, be on the move all the time. They haven't really had a settlement in a while. They don't need to go on raiding parties for supplies. They have all the supplies they need. They're pretty comfortable in the caves, and they're pretty well fed for the most part. When they would leave the caves, however, only Hurin and about 6 of the outlaws actually figured out and had learned the ways in and out of the cave. So when they did go, they would have to go in small groups and always like, hey, who knows the way out and in it? Oh, you? Okay, make sure he comes and make sure he doesn't die when we come back, okay? Okay, or we're screwed.
His name is GPS.
Arlo. What was the other one that was around for a while? Oh no, what did we call our GPS? And how people call their
Sheila.
Nav? We called our Sheila
because she had an Australian accent.
Heck yeah. I'm sure one was named Siri.
Yeah.
So in their own way, though, as they always seem to do when they made camp somewhere, the outlaws did set up a watch, just to be cautious, because they're finding out while it was kind of daunting at first. And, they are learning, though, as they're, going in and out of the caves, it's difficult, but it's not impossible to get in and out of these caves. So you got to keep a watch and make sure, no one else is figuring that out, too.
Uh-huh.
So day or night, one would be set at the mouth of the cave. And mainly just during the day, a watch would be set at the summit of the hill, at the top of Amon Ruth. Mainly to keep an eye on the surrounding lands as, it's a rather large hill. It had a pretty good view of the area. quote, steep as were the sides of the crown, the summit could be reached, for to the east of the cave mouth, rough steps had been hewn leading up to the slopes where men could clamber unaided. So it's like, even the men could do it. Like, even we could clamber up there.
It's not
We gotta
that
make
hard.
these steps idiot-proof for those freaking men. So time goes on, pretty boring and uneventful, especially for an outlaw, until the weather grew so rainy and so cold that, the random times that they would leave the cave just became less and less, because who wants to be cold and rainy when you have a nice warm cave? Um,
Right?
but then, as a mother, have found out, if you keep stir crazy people who are used to being outside and who are used to being active and, squashbuckling and raiding and pillaging, if you keep them confined
So a
for a
toddler.
very
A
long
toddler.
time, yes, very much a toddler. If you keep them confined for a very long time, they tend to not like that for a while. No matter how comfortable or fun you make it, they will not. They will immediately be like, "This is boring. I want
So, okay.
outside."
Sidebar for a second.
Sidebar.
So it's been really cold here, and it's also been really like, I just haven't been feeling good. And so I've also been having to like finish things at home. So my toddler has been like literally stuck at home. Like he has just been like stuck in our house and not outside like playing, right? So he's been
Right.
very like, if I don't know, it's just like been hard to take him to a store because he kind of like is too wound up because he's
Freedom!
stuck inside all day.
Yeah.
So and his brother and sister at school, so he's like so like a few days ago, I have to send you the video. A few days ago, he was just being insane. Like he was like running around, or he would like bite his sister. Like he was just like so out of control. I was like,
Aggressive.
what the heck? Yeah, I was like, what the heck? And he was like, and I knew in my heart it's because I haven't taken him outside, I haven't taken him to a park, I haven't done like these things to like just get his wiggles out. And he's just been so patient of like, well, I'm trying to finish these projects at home or things like that. And he's just been this little 3-year-old, like, I want to go do something. And he's just been kind of, bottling it up. And so he's been taking it out on his siblings when they come home. And he's like being so crazy. Like, it's been like kind of tough for these past few days. And so I was like making dinner, and my son comes down, my older son, and he comes down and he goes, you have been summoned, you have jury duty. And I'm like, jury duty? And then he's like, yes, please come upstairs for court. And I'm like, okay. And I go upstairs, and they had set up this courtroom with like all of the stuffies that are like in a little jury, and my daughter is at a little desk like a judge. And then they're like, please bring out the what is the persecute
The defendant.
The defendant or whatever, the person who's on trial, right?
Yeah.
There's a mound under a blanket, and then Fox takes the blanket off, and Oakley's under a laundry basket like a cage.
Like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. With a box of big box of Legos on top of it. So he can't get out.
I love this so much.
They're like, you've been summoned for jury duty. The defendant has been charged with what did it say? Biting, like reckless like screaming and destroying of property. Like they're like taking it so seriously. And he's like he's like in this little cage, like this little wild animal, like in a little and it was so funny. Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard. And so my job was I had to act out all the stuffies, their witness, like they're witnesses to the crime.
That is amazing. I love your children so much.
I'll have to send you the video. It's pretty funny. I was like,
what was the
wow,
verdict,
guys?
What was the verdict? Was he innocent or guilty? Oh, okay.
He was found very guilty.
Sure. Sounds like you had a stuffy
Uh-huh,
full of
uh-huh.
witnesses.
Yep. It was
That's
pretty
hilarious.
extreme.
That's amazing. Well, um, I could see like a courtroom thing happening in the cave. Oh my gosh. Like
So that
being
story was to
accused.
say, I understand when people get like cabin fever and they get a little too crazy sometimes.
Yeah. Well, instead of like maybe, going outside for a walk. I know it's rainy and cold, but you gotta expend that energy and that thought somewhere because quote, they soon grew weary of the dark underhill or the dim half light of the halls, and to most it seemed that life would be better if it were not shared with Meme.
Ooh.
So
Oh
they're
my gosh.
starting to turn on each other.
Can we get like a Big Brother like reality show
Yeah,
situation where they
vote
have
him
to like
off the
go
island.
yeah, they have to like go into the confessional like camera room and they like tell like all their all the
I'm sick of
secrets and everything.
Meme going through
Yeah.
all my stuff, man. He just give me this look like I killed his son or something. I don't know what it is. I
And it
just,
has like their little like name thing on the bottom of the screen and like they're like who they are.
oh my
Like
gosh, I love it so
what
much.
is it, Androg or whatever?
Androg's the jerk face, yeah.
Yeah. And it just says jerk face in quotes underneath, like that's his like tag.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Like a Jersey Shore.
And then they try and interview Meme and he just sits there glaring at the camera.
No,
Doesn't say
it's
anything.
only his forehead because you can only see it. The camera doesn't move. That's why he's
Uh,
so mad.
I love that so much. But I don't know why I kind of love this power move of Meme because, I'm sure he can sense that they don't want him there. I mean, they could have killed him at any point in time and taken this thing for themselves. I don't imagine, I mean, they have him outnumbered. What would he do against all of them? But this is what he does. Quote, too often he would appear out of some shadowy corner or doorway when they thought him elsewhere, and when Meme was near, unease fell on their talk. They took to speaking one to another ever in whispers.
You see, it's like reality show,
Mm-hmm.
like Big Brother, what was the other ones? Jersey Shore.
Yeah. Oh man. But I kind of okay. Also, my favorite Pixar short, which I'm not sure how many people know what those even are, but if you do, mine is called I think it's called For the Birds. And
Yes.
there's this yes. So all these like birds are on like a telephone line, and then this like freaking huge, weird looking bird kind of like sits in the middle of them, and they're kind of like, "Who's this guy?" And there's at
They're
one
not
point in
nice
time,
to him.
and they're not nice to him, but they like go over, they like try and like move away from him, and then you see them like looking very suspiciously at him. They keep looking out of the corner of his eye, and they're like whispering to each other, looking at him, and he just kind of like looks over at him like, "Hi," like
Yeah. Hey guys.
just reminded me of that so much. Um, nothing unites people better than a common enemy. When things are boring and wet and cold, who better to blame than, the one that's different from you? Let's blame Meme. He's weird. He's, not like us. And, it's not like Meme gave them a home or gave them food or anything. It's not like he's actually been a very,
After they killed his son.
yeah. Um, But while the outlaws were turning on Meme, Turin was actually becoming better friends with him. Quote, and listened more and more to his counsels. In the winter that followed, he would sit for long hours with Meme, listening to his lore and the tales of his life. Nor did Turin rebuke him if he spoke ill of the Eldar, or the elves. Meme seemed well pleased and showed much favor to Turin in return. Him only would he admit to his smithy at times, and there they would talk softly together. So he was allowed in the secret craft room. I know. I know.
Oh.
But this makes things a bit awkward because, Hurin is the leader of the outlaws. It's a big cave, but it's not big enough to hide the fact that the one guy they all hate is becoming better and better friends with their leader, which means, it's a balancing act. Hurin maybe wasn't doing the best at, making sure everyone was included. So, quote, less pleased were the men, and Androg, jerkface, looked on with a jealous eye.
He's my best friend.
I know. Now, at this point of the story in the Silmarillion is when Beleg shows up. But Tolkien had a few different versions of his appearance here in the Unfinished Tales. In one version, he, quote, appeared suddenly among them in the dim dusk of a winter's day, which is kind of like the Silmarillion version. In another version, food was running low in the caves. It's wintertime. There's not a lot of food to be had. So Meme starts to begrudge sharing his earthbreads. And so, not to cause any more strife, the outlaws go out on a hunting party to gather more food. And this hunting party just so happened to leave enough tracks that Beleg happened to follow them. And then, one story varies from here that either the hunting party had to make camp because of a sudden snowstorm, and then Beleg followed them back to the caves, or Beleg just followed the hunting party back to the caves and when they were done. So he just kind of like slipped him among the number so he got past the watch. So does it really matter? No. But like I said, the tea room napkins, this was his ideas that he was coming up with.
It's his when he wakes up in the middle of the night journal.
Yes.
On the side of his bed. When you read it back later, you're like, what the?
Yeah. And, in the Silmarillion version, he just appears in the caves, like I said, one day. Actually, that part always kind of make me laugh because you don't consider elves having a sense of humor. But he just kind of like appeared amongst them, kind of like he did the other time he surprised the outlaws. And he just like makes everyone jump. Yeah. And he takes off his hood and he just laughs. He's like, ha, yeah. But between Beleg leaving last time and now, it doesn't really cover it in the Unfinished Tales, but in the Silmarillion, just so we're kind of keeping the storyline here. Beleg went back to Doriath, reported to Thingol and Melian about what was going on with Hurin. Not great things. And he decides, I'm not going to give up on my boy. And, he gets the dragon helm of Dorloman to give to Hurin. Beleg gets the creepy but epic dark sword Anglakel from Thingol. And he gets Lembas from Melian.
And she packed him a lunch for the road.
So
and your angry eyes, just in case.
So this is when Beleg decides to stay with Hurin, and Beleg actually, stays on. He helps the outlaws by healing their wounded, and he even shares his lembas with him when food is scarce.
What a good guy.
I know. Beleg is up there for me, and he actually gains some more points this episode. I'll tell you why here in a minute. But was already kind of pissed at having people in his home, but really does not like elves, who's a little bit more pissed now that there's also an elf living now in his home?
Who could it be?
So yeah, Meme is not happy. And it does, not just the fact that it's an elf and, elves had hunted his people at one point in time, but also it's probably competing with, the friendship that he had going on with Hurin. He's being replaced, and the outlaw's like, now you know how we feel. So, okay. Again, I'm so sorry. This is the Unfinished Tales. This is the brainstorming session. And the fact that, these very specific notes are mentioned here in an appendix instead of a chapter and like a nice cohesive thought is made very plain. So like, okay, consider this like the random napkin thought he had. So, and I don't know why, but I kind of, this story makes me laugh. I kind of wish he kept it. At the sight of the lembas that Beleg brought, Meme got the idea somehow that if he ate the lembas, he would, quote, renew his youth and grow strong again. It's like magic bread. So at first he tries to like steal some from Beleg on the sly, but I mean, it's hard to steal things from an elf, especially something so small and so valuable. So that didn't work. So then Meme pretends to be sick and actually begs Beleg for the lembas.
Oh.
You know what I could really use right now is that magic bread you have. Well, how
Just like Mama.
Yeah. Just like my mama used to make. But, quote, when Beleg refused it to him, the seal was set upon Meme's hatred, and all the more because of Turin's love for the elf.
Can he be like
that was
pretending? Can he be like he's pretending? Memes pretending he's dying. It's like, if only I had lambas bread. I know it'd help me feel better. And he like opens one eye and like looks at him like he's like checking to see if he'll actually give him. He's like, and then Beleg's like, I'm not gonna give it to you. He's like, you know what? Fine. And he like gets up and walks away. Like, I didn't want your bread anyway.
It's an interesting idea. It makes you wonder about how well known lembas were at the time, or even in the earlier times of Meme's life. Like, had Meme actually heard about lembas? Lembas in the Silmarillion is only mentioned this one time, to my recollection. And that's because Melian is one of the Maiar, and she is kind of a witch in her own sense. So, you know, how well known could these have been in a hidden kingdom in Doriath? So I wonder what made him think they were magical, other than, you know, one small bite can fill the belly of a grown man.
Being elven made, I don't know.
Yeah. Or like he's seeing the men folk like being like really, really sick and hungry, and then all of a sudden they eat it and they're like, I feel great. And he's like, oh, magic.
Magic bread?
Magic bread. But what's funny is like he had magic. Those earth breads were magic in its own way too, but not magic enough.
Magic enough.
Not nearly magical enough. And here's another napkin note or deleted scene that I wish Tolkien would have left in the Silmarillion, because it just further adds to the brat version of Turin we're getting in the Unfinished Tales. I can't even remember what Turin was really like in the Silmarillion, like what my first vibes were about him, just other than he was just like emo and troubled. But now, just a brat. That's all I remember.
He's a brat.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the story. Quote, when Beleg brought out the lembas from his pack, Turin refused it. The silver leaves were red in the firelight, and when Turin saw the seal, like the seal on the package, his eyes darkened. What have you there? He said. The greatest gift that one who loves you still has to give, answered Beleg, referring to Melian. Yeah. Okay, it gets better. And Beleg continues, here is lembas, the way bread of the Eldar that no man yet has tasted. So like really, really high honor here, Turin. Are you ready? Are you ready? Brace yourselves. The helm of my fathers I take, said Turin, with goodwill for your keeping, but I will not receive gifts out of Doriath.
Oh my.
Like, I'll take back the dragon helm because technically that was mine, but the rest of that icky elf stuff that's from like that homeland that, you know, I don't like to think about and talk about. Yeah, no thanks.
He's really...
I see this as made in Doriath. Yeah, I don't do that.
What's like the like Middle Earth version of like being vegan, but it's like being...
That's what I was like just trying to...
have the light of the Eldar in it. Ugh.
Yeah. Yes. That's it. But you know what? Beleg, this is why I love Beleg. He gets all the points this episode. He's just... I really wish Beleg could have actually been like a dad. Like, I wonder what his kids would have been like. Because, yeah, he had a mess of a time with Turin. He says, quote, then send back your sword and your arms. Send back also the teaching and fostering of your youth, and let your men die in the desert to please your mood. Nonetheless, this waybread was a gift not to you, but to me, and I may do with it as I will. Eat it not if it sticks in your throat, but others here may be more hungry and less proud.
Oh,
Get it, Beleg. You tell him.
You get him.
You get him. Like, yeah, ungrateful child. You, like, don't want to, deal with the Doriath thing? Well, you were kind of raised by the Doriath place. Your sword's from Doriath. Your knowledge is from Doriath. Like, the fact that you're a good fighter, that's from Doriath. So, yeah, let's take it down a notch.
Ungrateful is a good word.
I know. Quote, then Hurin was abashed, and in that matter overcame his pride.
Oh, he got embarrassed.
He got embarrassed, got put in his place. So, in the Silmarillion, after Beleg's return, he and Hurin start kicking butt, and the land surrounding Amon-Ruth became known as Dor Cuarthal, or the land of bow and helm. Remember, that's kind of what that they were known as in Dimbar. Yeah, the bow, the helm and the bow.
That's so
quote,
cool.
I know. The helm and bow that had fallen in Dimbar had arisen again beyond hope. Then many who went leaderless, dispossessed but undaunted, took heart again and came to seek the two captains. So that's from the Silmarillion. So it makes it sound more like a legend or like a folk tale or something that just, was talked about and, word spread to inspire hope. And it doesn't say if Hurin and Beleg worked alone. Was it just the two of them? Did the outlaws join in? Did these other leaderless guys hearing the tale and went looking for the two captains find them and join them? It doesn't really explain it. But that's what the Unfinished Tales is all about. We get the detail. So
let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty. Quote, Beleg and Hurin for a time became from their stronghold on Amon-Ruth the leaders of a strong force in the land south of Teiglin. So, that sounds at least like a small army. So they've got, it's more than just them. Quote, Hurin received gladly all who came to him, but by counsel of Beleg, he admitted no newcomer to his refuge upon Amon-Ruth. And that was now named, I'm so sorry, Ikad Isidrin, Camp of the Faithful. So the Amon-Ruth, that was like the House of Ransom. That was something else before that. New name. All of the new names, everything gets renamed. So interesting that Beleg's like, hey, you might not want to take them back to your fortress in the caves. Yeah, just an idea. Okay, just keep doing what you're doing. Love it. I love that we're back on track here. Okay, bye.
It's that treading the, like, if he's gonna react like a teenager would and be like,
yes.
Yeah, and you're like, ah.
So the only people who knew how to get to Amon-Ruth, so continuing the quote, the way that there are only those of the old company knew and no others were admitted. So old company referring to the outlaws. So the outlaws did join in. So we got that question answered too.
Oh.
Yeah. But, where was this other army supposed to go? Quote, other guarded camps and forts were established round about, in the forest eastward, or in the highlands, or in the southward fens. From Method and Glad, or the end of the wood, to Bar Erib, some leagues south of Amon-Ruth, and from all these places men could see the summit of Amon-Ruth, and by signals received tidings and commands. How cool is that? Are we thinking flags? Or are we thinking smoke signals? Are we thinking, the thought of Morse code in Tolkien universe sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. Like something like it, I feel like could have existed.
Maybe this is like how the beacons thing started.
Oh yeah, I like that. So, the fact that there's so many different camps and they're having to, so many different camps that they're having to communicate via signals, it sounds like a big army, a kind of army that could really do a lot of damage. So, quote, in this way, before the summer had passed, the following of Turin was swelled to a great force, and the power of Angband was thrown back. Yeah. Take that, Angband. Now, just like in the Silmarillion, word was spreading about this awesome force, even to Nargothrond, where Orodruth now ruled, because R.I.P. Finrod. And there was even talk of, quote, if an outlaw could do such hurt to the enemy, what might not the Lord of Narog do? So, like, if just this outlaw could stir this much trouble, imagine what we could do. But we're just like, no. I'm staying out of it. I have a pinky promise with my man Thingol over there. We're just going to stay out of it. We have been passing notes. I like to fold them up in cute little things that say pull here to open them, you know. We even created a code. No. It does say that they would exchange words via secret ways, which I found funny.
Oh.
Yes. So Orodruth and Thingol were kind of on board about let's stay out of it. But unlike Thingol, Tolkien did add this about Orodruth. Quote, he was a wise lord according to the wisdom of those who considered first their own people, and how long they might preserve their life and wealth against the lust of the north, that being Angband. Therefore, he allowed none of his people to go to Turin, and he sent messengers to say to him that in all that he might do or devise in his war, he should not set foot in the land of Nargothrond, nor drive orcs thither. So, like, they actually were in communication with Turin. So you can't come in our area. Please don't, bring all your trouble here either. Don't, drive the orcs here. So that's interesting. But, quote, help other than in arms he offered to the two captains should they have need. And in this, it is thought he was moved by Thingol and Melian, which is interesting. Like maybe Thingol and Melian, knew what was going on, wanted to help a little bit, but given Turin's, attitude, we shall say, didn't think he would accept it. So they're like, hey, Orodruth, we're having a tough time with our foster son. Could you just offer him some help? Don't tell him it's from us. Don't tell him it's from us. Just, make it, just keep it sly. Just erase the from Doria, the made in Doria stickers. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So I can't remember in the Silmarillion if he ever regrets his ways of feeling like that. Does he ever do that? Or does he just kind of a bummer the whole time?
I'm pretty sure he's a bummer the whole time.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm going to be continuing to compare and contrast as we go along, so I'll keep you posted about that. But for my memory, I don't think because he never went back. Doria. So.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to like you, Turin.
I know.
You're making it a little difficult.
Especially compared to our golden child, I almost said Thor, which, I mean, he is Thor, Tor.
Yeah.
Compared to playing his harp and dancing through the flower beds, how can you not love him? He's just so adorable. And then you have Turin.
Helping his little emo elf friend.
Yeah. I mean, and then
how can you not love that guy?
I know. So that's actually where I'm going to leave you for today. So.
Okay.
Cliffhanger. Yeah, I know.
Can I say though?
Oh, yes. Please say.
So we've been watching The Rings of Power,
Uh-huh.
And I think it's interesting that where we are in the Unfinished Tales, it's cool to kind of get a visual of what these wild men look like and act like, because they're being shown in The Rings of Power. It's not the same wild men.
Right.
But that's not really something, because in the Lord of the Rings, there isn't a lot of talk of the wild men and the Easterlings and stuff like that, enough to know that these are human men.
They don't get personalities. They don't get backstories, really.
These are human men folk who are choosing to be like this and to fight on that side of the war. And in the Rings of Power, it's interesting to see. It's kind of cool that we get to see that after reading the Silmarillion and doing the Unfinished Tales right now, is to oh, like we get to see like the wild folk that attack other mortal men villages because
Yeah.
they're just like desperate or whatever. And I don't know, I think it's like kind of a cool bridge right now between the show and what we're talking about. And I'm a visual learner, so I'm like, oh, okay, I could put a
Yeah.
face to that a little bit.
Yeah. I agree.
So
I like it.
yeah. Oh, and another Rings of Power thing, because I just told Ashley, because I love finding out who does voices for things. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
the Ent in the Rings of Power show, what is his name? Like
Oh,
Tangle Root or something
Tawny.
like
Yeah, he has a funny name.
it's something really cute, like Wild Root or Tangle or something like that.
Yeah.
Is his name is what's his name?
Slughorn?
But he plays Professor Slughorn, that famous British actor. And I don't know why that made it so much more adorable to me. So if you're the kind of person that loves to know
Because he
when
comes
like
about the upholstery naturally, Abby.
yeah. But
Or the stuffing naturally. That's what it was.
that you're the kind of person that loves finding out voice actors if like where they're from. That's me. I love doing that. So
I
I
know
solved
that
that for you
voice.
guys. Yeah.
Well, I love that.
Plus, oh my gosh, I still can't get over that scene. That makes me like anyway. Well, what do we have
Uh,
some world news?
yeah. Well, I mean, let's start from the top here. Thank you, all who are still with us and still listening to us ramble on this journey through Middle Earth. Please don't forget to follow us at Sisters of the Shire Podcast on Instagram and pretty much everywhere else. If you ever want to send us an email, sistertheshirepodcast@gmail.com. Big thank you to our patrons, Dan and Tom. You guys are they're the men of the men. Your support truly means the world to us. If you'd like to support the podcast alongside our men to the men, you can join our fellowship. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. There you'll see all of our fun tiers and what you can get with each tier, because you can actually like get things other than like the fun song that we make, because I mean we are going to sing to you, but also like we could shout out your small business. We've had Patreon supporters on the show for trivia things,
which I want to do again.
Things. Yes. I think you've like mailed them artwork in the past. Like we've got fun stuff and just no one's taking advantage. And yeah.
Please, I have to remember, it was so long ago, but if you were one of the Patreon subscribers who did not get a Treebeard print, please, like paying Patreon subscriber, please let me know and I will get that to you.
Yeah. Because while we do love doing this podcast, it is the one way I for sure can like say hi to Abby once a week. And we get to nerd out about Tolkien. But it does cost money to do. So your support really helps, us doing this and keeping the podcast going. So if you can't help out monetarily, though,
we do
it for you. And also a little for us, because I get to nerd out with my cousin. But if you can't help out monetarily, we understand. Please consider leaving a rating or a review or share with a friend, because that really helps us as well.
Spread the word. Spread the word.
As far as world news goes, Slovenia overtook Spain. France overtook one of the Netherlands. Somehow there's a Netherlands and the Netherlands. I think we've talked about this before. I think someone's cheating and having
Netherlands.
Yeah. The Netherlands.
The proper Netherlands.
Ukraine overtook Puerto Rico and Iceland. Puerto Rico overtook Poland, New Zealand, and Russia. Japan overtook Nigeria, and I'm so sorry, I butcher this every time. It's not Turkey anymore. It's Turkey. I'm so sorry. It's
I don't know. I know it's changed, but I don't know.
Y-E, and I don't know. I'm so sorry. Please still listen. I promise. I promise we'll be nice. So that's about as far as world news goes. If you just wanted to know what our top 10 countries are, just to like see what the competition you're dealing with, of course, I'm so sorry. We're Americans. US is at number 1. That's just kind of a given. Germany is number 2. Okay. United Kingdom is number 3. Australia, thanks to our man, Albert, we love you, man, is number 4. Canada, number 5. Netherlands, looking at you, Tom, is number 6. Ireland, number 7. Norway is number 8. Israel, shout out to Dan, is number 9. And number 10 is Sweden. So if you're looking to be in the top 10, those are the countries you got to contest with.
Oh, all right.
Shout out to those loyal listeners.
Thank you. We love you all.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for teaching me today.
You're welcome. Until next time, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby. And this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we're so glad that you joined us today. And we hope that you can join us next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!